The founding of the People's Republic of China and socialist construction. October 1, 1949. The founding of the People's Republic of China. Mao Zedong announced the founding of the new China on the Tiananmen Gate Tower. 1950. Led the war to resist U.S. aggression and aid Korea, defending the security and dignity of the new China. 1958. Launched the Great Leap Forward movement, main measures and implementation process. 1. People's Commune. Collectivization in rural areas, establishment of people's communes, abolition of private ownership, and implementation of collective agriculture and collective life. 2. Decentralization of high targets. Through the method of high targets, high obligations, and high rewards, local units and people's communes are encouraged to increase production, save and develop the economy. 3. Large-scale infrastructure construction. Promote the construction of large-scale water conservancy, energy, transportation and other infrastructure, such as the construction of large reservoirs, railways and roads. 4. Steel production. Promote a substantial increase in national steel production and encourage people to participate in smelting iron furnaces to support the industrialization process. Impact and consequences. Some obvious problems and hazards appeared in the implementation of the People's Commune, mainly including the following points. 1. Low economic efficiency. The People's Commune promoted full labor and collective management, but due to the chaotic management during the collectivization process, unreasonable agricultural production plans and lack of motivation of farmers, agricultural production efficiency dropped significantly. The Great Famine during the 3 years of hardship from 1959 to 1961 caused 15 million to 55 million abnormal deaths in mainland China. It is widely regarded as the largest famine in human history and one of the most serious man-made disasters in human history. The 3-year famine was similar to the recurrence of the Soviet famine in 1932. The main causes included the improper policy of the Great Leap Forward and the People's Commune movement. 2. Waste of resources. Due to the central government's eagerness to pursue high yields and collective management, a large amount of resources were wasted on unreasonable large-scale agricultural projects and production activities instead of investing in more efficient agricultural production and development. 3. People's difficult life. During the People's Commune period, farmers' personal freedom was strictly restricted and their living conditions deteriorated. Farmers were forced to participate in collective production and political studies instead of producing and living according to individual and family needs. 4. Ideological and cultural repression. The People's Commune strengthened the party's political control over farmers and commune members through political propaganda and ideological education. Individual thoughts and creativity were suppressed, leading to obstacles to social development and progress. 5. Social disorder. The implementation of the People's Commune destroyed the traditional rural social structure and family economic life model, exacerbating social divisions and contradictions. 6. Economic regression and social unrest. Due to the economic problems and social unrest generated during the Great Leap Forward, China's economic development and social stability were seriously affected. Overall, the Great Leap Forward movement caused serious social, economic and humanitarian problems, which had a profound impact on China's future development. In the later period of the Great Leap Forward movement, due to serious economic difficulties and policy mistakes, a 7,000-person conference was held in January 1962. The 7,000-person conference was mainly to review the shortcomings and mistakes of the Great Leap Forward. Liu Shaoqi made a written report and speech on behalf of the Central Committee, admitting that the economic difficulties were 30% natural disasters and 70% man-made disasters. Mao Zedong delivered a long speech on democratic centralism within the party at the meeting, at least making some self-criticism. There was no re-election at the meeting, and no communique or resolution was issued. The media did not report a single word about the entire meeting, and Mao Zedong's position did not change. In society, the general public was unaware of it, so Mao Zedong's status and image did not seem to change much. But within the party, especially at the top of the party, the pragmatic faction headed by Liu Shaoqi gained great prestige, and Mao Zedong's personal prestige fell to the lowest point since the 7th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. Mao Zedong retreated to the second line, and Liu Shaoqi, Deng Xiaoping and other leaders presided over the daily affairs of the Central Committee. Liu Shaoqi, Deng Xiaoping and other leaders began to take a series of adjustment measures to correct mistakes and stabilize the economy. The following are some of the key measures they took. In January 1961, the 9th plenary session of the 8th Central Committee of the party decided to implement the 8-character policy of adjustment, consolidation, enrichment and improvement for the national economy, which marked that the Great Leap Forward movement had actually been stopped and the national economy began to enter a new track of adjustment. When Liu Shaoqi conducted an investigation and research in Xiangtan County, Hunan Province in 1961, he communicated with the members to seek a solution to the problem of substitute food during the Great Famine, and participated in the formulation of the Rural People's Commune Work Regulations draft referred to as Agricultural 60 Articles, and tried out the 3-level ownership system with the Production Brigade as the basic accounting unit. The implementation of these adjustment measures helped stabilize the economy and improve people's lives. Although the leftist ideology had not been completely corrected politically, the economic adjustment and recovery tasks could basically continue as planned. It laid the groundwork for the subsequent Cultural Revolution. Cultural Revolution from 1966 to 1976. The main reason why Mao Zedong launched the Cultural Revolution was that Mao launched the Great Leap Forward, the People's Commune, and the 3 red flags in 1958, which caused an unprecedented 3-year famine, caused the deaths of 30 to 40 million people, and committed a heinous crime. He was guilty and feared that power would fall into someone else's hands and be usurped by others. He was also afraid that after his death he would be whipped and liquidated like Stalin, so he had to launch a big purge to maintain his position in the party and his position after his death. At that time, quite a number of people in the party, including quite a number of cadres, agreed with Liu Shaoqi's approach. Mao Zedong had too many people to overthrow, so he couldn't overthrow so many people using the traditional method of intra-party struggle. So he needed to use an extraordinary method to not only kill Liu Shaoqi, but also Peng Dehuai. Moreover, he had to wipe out all of Liu Shaoqi's so-called system, and at the same time give other officials, big and small, a deterrent so that they would never dare to have any unreasonable thoughts in the future. Mao Zedong's motives for launching the Cultural Revolution were complex and diverse, and can be mainly attributed to the following points. 1. Power struggle and personal intentions. The Cultural Revolution was one of Mao Zedong's means to politically confront internal and external opposition and maintain his power and status. By launching mass movements and revolutionary waves, he tried to eliminate dissident forces inside and outside the party and strengthen his leadership in the party and the country. 2. Opposition to the influence of the Soviet model and ideological misunderstandings. Mao Zedong was disgusted with the compromise of the Soviet model and the right-wing trend of the international communist movement, and believed that the purity and revolutionary nature of the Chinese Communist Party should be strengthened through the Cultural Revolution. 3. Social control and mass mobilization. The Cultural Revolution was not only a tool for power struggle, but also a strategy adopted by Mao Zedong to control society and mobilize the masses. By mobilizing young students and workers to participate in the revolution, he tried to achieve greater control and influence over society. These factors worked together to prompt Mao Zedong to decide to launch the Cultural Revolution, although the movement ultimately led to serious social unrest, economic losses, and humanitarian disasters. Did Mao Zedong lose power on the eve of the Cultural Revolution? Perhaps some of Mao's speeches were not as brilliant as before in the top leadership of the Communist Party of China, but Mao's power in the whole party, the whole army and the whole country reached its peak since 1949. This is undoubtedly a phenomenon that is worth studying but has not been fully studied so far. In 1958, Mao Zedong launched the General Line, the Great Leap Forward, and the People's Commune 3 Red Flag movement, which resulted in the largest man-made famine in human history, causing more than 30 million abnormal deaths. It is incredible that the great tyrant and incompetent Mao Zedong did not fall because of this. What is even more incredible is that 3 or 5 years later, Mao Zedong's personal prestige did not decline but rose, and even reached its peak, so that he accumulated enough capital to launch the Cultural Revolution. After Mao Zedong led the Communist Party of China to win power, he was determined to engage in economic construction and strengthen the material foundation of socialism. The first 5-year plan seemed to be a complete success. Mao Zedong was eager to win and said, "We cannot follow the old path of economic development of various countries," so he invented the Great Leap Forward. At that time, specific targets for doubling the output of major production projects such as steel, coal, grain and cotton were proposed, and the annual output of steel and grain was regarded as more important than the sky. Slogans such as "catch up with Britain in 15 years" and "surpass Britain and the United States today" only know to criticize its impracticality and rarely pay attention to examining the value standards behind it. The so-called catching up with Britain and surpassing Britain and the United States simply means to make the output of the main production departments reach the level of Britain and the United States in a short period of time. The self-evident premise is to regard the degree of development of material production as the standard for measuring whether a society is advanced or not.